Okay, so we have x squared minus 100, and there are two ways to go about this. You can either do difference of squares if you understand difference of squares, or you can do Xbox factoring, which is what a lot of you guys might have done here. If you tried Xbox factoring, you would have had negative 100 on top, 0 underneath, because there is no b term. And if there is no b term, that means that the two numbers that you have here are going to cancel out when you add them together. So what number times the other number gives you negative 100 but adds up to 0? Negative 10 and positive 10. So one's positive, one's negative. And that's going to give you x minus 10 and x plus 10. And that's really all you have to do. You don't have to do x box. Like, you have to do the x, but not the box, because there's no leading coefficient. It's just 1. Moving on to b. What kind of factoring can I do for b? Help me out here. What kind of factoring am I going to do for b? GCF. What is the GCF? No, but like in this case, what is the GCF? 5. So we take a 5. What else can I take out? No, just an x. 5x. That'll give me 2x minus 5. And that's it. Okay. Now, for this problem, since we do have a leading coefficient, in this case greater than 1, we will have to do Xbox factoring, so the x and the box together. It's called factoring by grouping. That's the official name for that. So we have 6 on top, negative 5 on the bottom. That'll be negative 3 and negative 2. You make your box at that point with 3x squared and 2, negative 3x and negative 2x. So we'll take a 3x from here, and we'll take a negative 2 from there. And so you'll get 3x minus 2 and x plus 1. Oh, other way around. Sorry. 3x plus 2 and x minus 1. The reason why this has to be negative 1 is because 3x times negative 1 will give you negative 3x. Both be negative. There we go. You can double check. They're both supposed to be negative because the final number is supposed to be positive. Otherwise, the sign's going to check out. So 3x minus 2 and 3x minus 1. Okay, to be honest, I'm not too worried about those problems. I know you guys know how to factor. What worries me is number 2. So if you didn't do number 2, you have to follow along. Okay. Number 2 is algebraically solving for a. You have to write an equation. Now, we talked about this last class. When you want to write an equation, you're going to write it in graphing form. Y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. So you'll begin by finding your vertex, which is the point that is the maximum or the minimum. In this case, the maximum, which is 3 and 6. So h is 3, k is 6. Now, there are two other points that are given to you, 0, 0, and 6, 0. You have to use one of these points to serve as your x and y. I'm going to use the point 6, 0, and that'll be my x and y. Once again, you must do this with 2 points, otherwise it won't work. So we have y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. We're going to rewrite this, but we're going to replace every letter with a value. So this is going to become 0 equals a, x is 6, so 6 minus h is 3, 6 minus 3 squared plus 6. So this will give you 0 equals a, 3 squared plus 6. We'll get 0 equals 9a plus 6. And then you have to move the 6. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. And we're going to get negative 6 equals 9a. So a is going to equal negative 2/3. Simply solving for a is not the final solution. The final solution is writing a full equation. With the a value, the h, and the k value. So this will be our final answer. Y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3 squared plus 6. This will be the actual final answer. Okay. Number 3, you're skipping, so don't worry about number 3. If you really want to check your work, talk to me. I can check your work, or talk to Miss M. We can check your work for you. But we're not going to dive too much into like domain and range, at least for today's lesson. Okay. Now, today's lesson, we're going to be doing a lot of modeling with quadratics. So you're going to be given some word problems, and it's going to be your task with your team to answer the word problems as best as you can. So let's jump into the first one, and then I'll get you guys set up with all the work for that. Are there any questions on the warm-up before I move on? Okay. So this, we're not going to do that as a team quiz. I'm just going to have you guys work together, but I'm not going to be grading it as a quiz. You're going to look at each problem with your team, and then you're going to check in with us before you move on. You want to make sure that your graph is accurate. So once again, you cannot move on unless you finish the problem and we've checked your work. All right, and there's a lot of parts to the question, so you're answering parts A through E, and then all that stuff. If you have any questions, we can walk you through it. I won't show you this on the board because this is supposed to be a team activity. But like I said, if you have any questions, call us over. And we probably won't finish all of it. So we'll just do as much as we can. And that's it. I won't be assigning this as homework, so don't stress about it. With that said, I will ask that you all be productive and work together. Any questions on what we're doing right now? All right. Go ahead and get started.